Really good presentation. I appreciate the extra detail in what the written documents we got.
Same. Thank you. I vote aye. The report is accepted. Carla, can you please read 539 along with 543?
Yes, 539, accept bid of Keystone Contracting, Inc. for the Luther Road Restoration Project for $1,827,000. And 543, amend ordinance to authorize contract with the lowest responsible bidder and provide payment for construction of the Luther Road Restoration Project number E10854 in the amount of $1,827,000.
Thank you. Commissioner Fish, do you want to
No.
give comment? Okay, we'll move right to staff.
Staff report.
Okay.
City Council, thank you. Good afternoon. Lester Spiller, Chief Procurement Officer, here to present the Chief Procurement Officer report for this project. March 20th, 2019, Council approved the authorizing ordinance number 189430 for us to competitively solicit for the project. In that ordinance, it capped the amount for which my position could sign the contract for, and that's why these two items are being read together. The amended ordinance is to do away with that cap and allow council to accept the report at the lowest responsible bid. So the estimate for this project was $1.75 million. The level of confidence was high. On April 23rd, 2019, Procurement Services opened the bids from the invitation to bid, and we received 3 responses. The lowest responsive bid is from Keystone Contracting Incorporated in the amount of $1,827,000. That bid is 4.4% over the estimate, so not too bad. The project, as usual, had a 28% aspirational goal for subcontractor and supplier utilization. Keystone Contracting is meeting that goal. They're using one certified subcontractor, and that company's name is Brenda Lee Fairbanks, DBA Daybreak Construction. They're a disadvantaged business, minority-owned business, and a woman-owned business enterprise certified with the state's office. And they will be performing flagging, excavation, soil clearing, and grubbing in the amount of $369,000. They are listed as by the state as a woman-owned Hispanic business. Keystone Contracting is located in the La Center, Washington, and is not a state-certified contractor. They do have a current City of Portland business tax registration and are in full compliance with all of the city's contracting requirements. I have the project manager in the audience in case there's any questions. If not, the recommendation is for council to accept the report and authorize execution of the contract.
Commissioner Udaly, you gave me the opportunity to make an opening comment. I do in fact have a very brief opening comment, so.
The mayor is back, so you're going to have to address.
So it puts it in context, so Mayor,
Yeah.
with your forbearance.
Yep.
This ordinance follows up on council's March 20th authorization of the Luther Road Restoration Project. Environmental services through this contract will restore Johnson Creek near Luther Road to stabilize the stream bed and eroded banks. That will protect a major city asset, a 66-inch combined sewer and stormwater pipe that runs through the creek and serves the Lentz area. The restoration will also improve stream flow and salmon habitat while protecting nearby properties from erosion. Thank you.
Very good.
I move the report.
Second?
Commissioner Fish moves the procurement report. Commissioner Daly seconds it. Any further discussion on the report? Please call the roll on the report.
Fish.
Aye.
Udaly.
Lester, and I thank you for the additional demographic information on the MWESB contractors. I think it's something that the council and the public appreciates knowing, and I believe it's going to help dispel maybe some concerns about who exactly is represented in that category. I vote aye.
Fritz. Aye. Wheeler.
Aye. Report's accepted. And Commissioner, it's my understanding 543 has also been read.
Yes.
Has public testimony been taken?
Yes. Call
Yes.
for it.
Okay, so public testimony is done. It's an emergency ordinance. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Fish.
Aye.
Udaly,
Aye.
Fritz,
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. Ordinance is adopted. Please read item 540. I'm going to return it.
540, amend the policy for the Minority Evaluator Program to increase the threshold for which it applies from $150,000 to $1 million.
Colleagues, I'd like to return this to my office. Without objection, read 541, please.
541, amend city code to reflect current structure, operations, and responsibilities in the Office of Management and Finance.
Colleagues, the Office of Management and Finance has updated sections of the city code to reflect the many organizational changes that they've undergone in recent years. The bulk of the changes are located within a restructured Chapter 3.15. This describes the organization's functions and duties of the Office of Management and Finance, but also include referential cleanups to the area of code that were affected by their efforts. I'd like to welcome Deputy Chief Administrative Officer Carmen Merlo back to the roster. She's here to provide us more information on these code changes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you,
Welcome
Mayor.
back.
Thanks. Commissioners, Carmen Merlo, Deputy Chief Administrative Officer. With me is Michelle Koenig-North with our Strategic Projects and Opportunities team. And I'm here today to present updates that reflect organizational changes implemented by the Chief Administrative Officer to the Office of Management and Finance. In March of 2018, the CAO, Tom Reinhardt, dissolved the Bureau formerly known as BIBS, the Bureau of Internal Business Services. BIBS was previously made up of 4 divisions: Fleet, Facilities, Risk, and Printing and Distribution. As part of the new organizational structure, Fleet and Facilities were combined into a new division of Asset Management, or DAM. I can't compete with the Poopmaster 6000, but I have a joyous time saying the DAM manager. Under the Office of the Chief Administrative Officer, Printing and Distribution was moved over to the Bureau of Technology Services, and Risk was moved to the Bureau of Revenue and Financial Services. Other changes made to Chapter 3.15 include adding the new position of Deputy Chief Administrative Officer that was created by Council in November 2017, and establishing the Office of the Chief Administrative Officer as a major organizational component and operations of OMF, clarifying that the CAO had the ability to appear in small claims court to defend and represent the city, as well as enter into non-disclosure agreements, and that these authorities could be further delegated by the CAO to appropriate individuals in OMF. It also clarified the authority of the Chief Technology Officer to enter into technology-related non-disclosure agreements, and for the Chief Financial Officer to enter into financial-related non-disclosure agreements. Finally, it moved Enterprise Business Solutions into the Bureau of Technology Services. We made significant edits to Chapter 3.15 to reflect best practices found in lower city codes. Some of these improvements include the addition of a purpose, definitions, and functions section, ensuring authorities and responsibilities were delegated at the appropriate level, and removing specific references to funds or buildings managed so that council can assign or reassign those roles and functions without the need for code updates. Additional housekeeping changes were made to remove references to the Bureau of Internal Business Services and ensure delegations of authority previously issued by the Director of BIBS were transferred to appropriate parties. It also removed inaccurate references to OMF bureaus or divisions. And then finally, we know that we have more work to do, and we anticipate coming back to you in the near future with additional code revisions that are unrelated to the dissolution of BIBS. As one example, with the establishment of the new Office for Community Technology as a standalone bureau, we'll need to update additional code sections to reflect the new organizational structure, and look forward to working with OCT staff to bring these code changes to council. Finally, I do want to thank Michelle Koenig-North, Josh Greger, and Dana Shiplett for all their work in helping to affect, and Linda Law, to affect these changes in code. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Very good. Is there any public testimony on this item?
No one signed up.
Okay, very good. With that, this is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. Thank you for your comment. Next item is 544.
authorize 2-year grant agreements with 7 youth-serving organizations in support of the Teen Collaborative Initiative not to exceed $560,000 and per grant not to exceed $80,000.
Colleagues, this is a second reading of an ordinance. There's already been a presentation and public testimony. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Udake. Fritz. Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. 545, also a second reading.
Increased fee schedule for the Office of Community and Civic Life Noise Office for noise variance applications in the amount of 5% as permitted by Code Section 18.14.020B.
Any further discussion on this item? Please call the roll.
Udake.
Looking through the Civic Life Noise Program and the Noise Review Board, aye.
Fritz.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye, the ordinance is adopted. That leaves us with the consent agenda, item 526. Who pulled it?
This was pulled by a community member.
Do we know who?
They wanted to be anonymous.
Okay, very good. Read it.
I can tell you who did it, I did it, I'm happy
Okay,
to say I
very
know.
good. Oh, it's very good. No worries. Doesn't matter. Go
Item
ahead.
526, grant a franchise to XO Communication Services LLC for communications services and facilities for a period of 10 years.
Elizabeth, are you here to staff on this issue? Yeah, would you like to go ahead and give us a brief presentation and we'll hear public testimony? Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Oh, good evening already. Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Elizabeth Perez. I'm the current Acting Director for the Office for Community Technology. This is a franchise for XO Communication Services to provide wireline, telephone, internet access, and internet-based network services for small and medium-sized businesses. Now, I looked over the testimony that was written in response to this franchise. Many of them were concerned about 5G. I can tell you it does not provide or build wireless sites. It does not provide any wireless services, 3G, 4G, or 5G. The franchise was first agreed to in 2000. It was granted to NextLink Oregon doing business as XO. It was a 10-year franchise. It has been extended 6 times, and this is the first time that we have renegotiated with staff for another 2-year franchise.
Very good. Any further questions of Elizabeth? Why don't we take public testimony? Maybe that'll generate some additional questions. How many people do we have signed up, Carla?
I have 6 people signed up.
Very good. 2 minutes each. Name for the record.
Okay, the first 3, please come on up, are Robert Philip Robbins, Michelle Alexius, and Barry Sanders. Then let's go with Maxie Oliver. And I should know your names.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, guests. Roberta Phillip Robbins, Executive Director, Digital Commonwealth Alliance, an organization bringing leadership and resources to build community self-reliance through local control and ownership of digital and physical assets. I encourage you to review our submitted public comments dated May 22nd, 2019, and I invite you to work with us on those recommendations proposed in those comments. The City of Portland's top priority should be to support municipal broadband as it is a true solution to digital inclusion and will allow Portlanders access to affordable net-neutral internet. We request that the city deny the franchise agreements referenced today, as we can all agree not all laws have been good or just. Dozens of cities across the U.S. have said no to the telecoms, and this body should remember its history as a leader and innovator and stand up to big telecoms. Given the emergency franchise agreement already in place for a full year and the pending litigation against the FCC, there's no reason to rush this process. We request that you require robust public notice for all permits, especially 5G installations, although I learned today that this one does not necessarily include 4 or 5G. The city should draft stronger aesthetic standards before finalizing the franchise agreement the FCC does not limit your ability to look into this. And as you consider this franchise agreement and the likelihood of others, many others, the city must maintain its responsibility and ability to continue to regulate aesthetics of proposed telecommunications equipment. The FCC has allowed governments to put forth aesthetic standards, and the city of Portland should do so. We request that the city take the time to set these standards before moving forward with this and other franchise agreements. And also the city needs to study the potential negative impacts to property values and to public health. We encourage you to consider, thank you, the potential liability for harm to public health, the environment, and property, and what its plan is to address